Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Landedkiller show. Today, we're going to cover the Tier 3 to Tier 5 ships for the new German line. These are going to be brief overviews of each ship. We're not going to go too in depth on everything. This is basically the first German battlecruiser von der Tann. It was designed for use in joint operations with Nassau class, which is the Tier 3. So it's like Nassau Light. Briefly look at the armor. We got some 16mm plating up here. Armor belt of 80 to 120 and 100 sections. 200 section down the middle. 25mm section on the deck, mid deck. Superstructure plating 10. Top plate is 60. Frontal plate 230. This deck right here is 16, 230 up there. Conning tower 250. 200 back here for this conning tower. I got sections of 250 and 200, 100 in the back of the base section there. More 25mm deck here. We see we got an Eth warship of 170, Eth warship of 170, Citadel warship 16, Citadel torpedo bulkhead 30mm, armor belt 250. Try to get it down to the Citadel plating. Citadel plating, 30mm, 5mm, section of 200, 16 there, 16 here. Barbettes, 200, goes down to 30, down at the bottom, 200, 200 all around. What I don't see a lot of is people covering the Tier 3 to Tier 5 ships. Heck, Tier 3 to Tier 8, sometimes it feels like they don't cover them, and then some people just go straight to the Tier 9. I'm just like, there's other ships too, like von der Tann here. Moltke. Yes, I know videos are out there on Moltke already. Nobody's made videos on the Tier 3 or Tier 5, the Flinger. I'll figure out how to pronounce that. What I don't... What I really just don't like about wargaming titles is the fact that they have these tiers at the bottom. They're tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 that sometimes don't ever get played because people are in a rush to get to the tier 10, which wargaming further encourages by having early access stuff in here. So I'm just going to play a battle on each ship here. I'm going to show you how they play. I don't expect I'll get to the higher tier German ships for a little bit here. We'll see. Don't even get me started on Schlieffen being up for auction. Probably gonna be only so many people that get that ship, probably because they're putting down 20,000 gold or more. Man, I remember the days when we didn't sit there and have early access this, early access that. And you know what the point in time that was when we changed, suddenly have early access nonsense? Update 7.1 with the French battleships. French battleships are good, don't get me wrong. It's what wargaming did to the game at that time that really has been affecting it like a cancer ever since. Over monetization needs to just be stopped. We need to find a way where wargaming can make their money, but the practices aren't always so shady. I do like the fact that they're taking steps to disclose the container drop rates for Black Friday and Christmas, so kudos to them for that. And the fact that they're gonna have an 18+ dialogue box is a good move as well. You get to see these early access events just calm down a little bit where there's less monetization. We've seen them change to where you're not spending doubloons for random bundles, but you're trying to get tokens. So there's that at least. Honestly, sticking Schlieffen up for auction, what's the I suppose it's to be accepted at this point. There's not much we can do about it now. But I'm telling you, I don't ever see people really covering the earlier tiers of these lines. Sometimes people are just in a hurry. Hey, I'm gonna show the tier 9. That'll be good enough. I'll put out the video on the tier 9 and that's it. Just like there's a tier 3, there's a tier 4, there's a tier 5, there's a tier 6, tier 7, tier 8. Not just tier 9. It's like, what's up with ya? Tired of going down to co-op to try them out? This is like the first time I'm touching these ships actually in this gameplay, so if I'm not getting high enough damage, you know why. Honestly, I'm trying to show these ships for how they are. There's too much of a focus on the higher tiers, not enough on the lower tiers. I feel like there's a lot of ships at the lower tiers that just get glossed over because people are in a higher or have some complex like, let's get to tier 10. Well, I'm telling you, tier 10's not going to matter anymore once they get the super ships in. It's not going to matter as much anymore. You're going to be outclassed by the super ships. And who's to say that Wargaming is not going to explore the possibility of tier 12 someday? We never thought that they would go get into the tier 11 business, and now they are. What's to stop them from going to tier 12? I'm going to keep saying this every video. If you guys don't want super ships to dominate your queue and outdate your tier 10s, you got to speak up. You guys ultimately play this game, and I know not all of you go on the forums. It's those of you that don't go on the forums, that don't speak your mind, that really just determine a lot of the game. Like, they'll assume that you're fine with everything by just how you respond on the surveys half the time. If it were up to me, my idea would be to have these ships in grand battles like maybe 2 to 3 times a year and not stick them into the tech tree where they can cause more devaluation of your tier 10s. But yeah, all your tier 10s are going to be devalued because these tier 11s are coming. Wargaming thinks it's a good idea. You know what I would do? I would completely just branch things off at the tier 10. And I would just I would divide the game up into World War II and modern era, right? Make it make sense. Tier 11s being the new base, and there being a tier 12 and a tier 13 where we go more up to modern ships, where they put in the missiles and they separate it off from the World War II ships. I don't think it's asking that much to actually just put them off in their own little territory. Don't think that you should have all these ships sitting around and devaluing tier 10s. I honestly don't. Like I suggested in another video, let's get the pre-dreadnoughts in the game already and make it tier 0. Those ships actually were built and served, most of them, you know? It would be fun to play with all their secondaries. I think it's silly that they don't have that. So one thing to note is that you got this rapid repair party like on the Russian battleships, so to be conservative in using that. So I'm not using it because I have a fire right now. I'm gonna wait until I have like 2 or 3 fires. But you all get what I'm saying, right? It's really just ridiculous that they're doing this. If you guys don't speak up about it, they're just gonna go ahead and think hunky-dory, it's okay, let's do this, let's devalue the tier 10s. Honestly, if you want to put these ships in the game, make them be in their own separate sphere of the game, not interacting with tier 10s, but create the tier 12, create the tier 13, fully expand on that, create a modern portal on the game. You guys too afraid to do that or what? Sometimes I don't think these devs play their own game. Feels like that sometimes. Not sure if you all feel the same way. I definitely feel it after playing this game since closed beta. It's like they cared in the beginning and now they just only care to really monetize. So I don't know what else to think. I mean, I like the increased communication. I'll give them that. Super ships. They belong in their own separate sphere away from the tier 10s in the current game. So you're going to tell me that Satsuma is more valuable, this paper ship Satsuma is more valuable than the actual Yamato itself that actually was in World War II. Is that what you're telling me? That's essentially what they're telling all you all. For all you that care about history. If you guys really care about history, the historical aspect of the game, you need to start speaking your mind up and say, Wargaming, let's stick these super ships away from the tier 10s in the game. How about you create your missile ships that you've been wanting to make for a while and separate those off? Separate your fantasy ships off and your missile ships off into a separate portal in the game. Create 2 portals. World War II ships. Modern ships. Is that really hard for you guys to do at Wargaming? To create 2 different portals for the game? You really want to let people play in the fantasy ships and they should have to face the missile ships. Really test them out. But honestly, I think that your missile ships are probably already in the pipeline right now. You're just not going to reveal them until 2023. That's my guess right now, is that those missile ships are there. We already have homing mechanics. They already exist in the game. So overall, Vondertan, what do I think? Good ship. Respectable at tier 3. Gets good acceleration. Guns are so-so for its tier. I think that if we had more lines like the German battleship line, that would be great. Because they're actually grounded. Honestly, I want to know, where did the blueprints for Satsuma come from? Where did you find that? Because in my research, I could only find design A150. Hanover has a basis, yes. These other ships, I'm not so sure. I don't like the game becoming like World of Tanks, where it's World of Paper Ships. It's not that fun. Why don't you guys go back and develop the pre-dreadnoughts in the game? Those would be more fun to players, because you can mess around with the secondaries on those. Honestly, if you want my opinion, I think they should have gone the other direction and introduced pre-dreadnoughts. Going more into the future of ships is not a good idea, especially if they decide to put missile ships in the game. They tested it once, I hear, in the alpha phase of the game. I believe they tested in that time frame, but I'm more supportive of pre-dreadnoughts coming than these super ships, honestly. When you threw all your community contributors under the bus, it's throwing the players under the bus by putting these ships in. I don't know. I guess if that's what people want, that's what we're gonna get, and all the people that have actually been around for years are gonna have their tier 10 suddenly devalued. They try to trick you by saying, oh, it's only 1 experience point. It's a high credit cost too, which they did on purpose to get you to sit there and rush to it and get the credit packs, most likely. All right, let's get on to bulky. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these a little wrong. I'm not German. I try my best with what I got. So this is basically a bigger Vondertan. So you got the 19 millimeters up here, 80 armor belt, goes to 100 then 120. Section of 19 down there. Deck is 19, so a little better. Armor belt 270, armor thickness 19. Deck is 35 millimeters on the outside, 25 on the inside. Superstructure is 13. Conning tower is 350. Top is 80. front face of turret is 230, side is 160, top is 60, top plate is 90, plating 13, 60, 60, 90, 230, 25 millimeter deck, 19 millimeter deck, bottom 30 millimeter, 19 millimeter. We got some 100 millimeter sections wrapped around, 200 millimeter sections, 270 armor belt, side plating 19. Take all that off, and what do we got? Bar bed armor, looks like it's 200 here, 200 there. Make sure we take off that. So we have Citadel deck of 25 millimeters. Our bar back goes down to 30 at the bottom. We have Citadel torpedo bulkhead at 30 millimeters. That's Warship 19 millimeters. Citadel Warship 170 front. Citadel Warship 170. Citadel section 19 at the bottom. 30 millimeter there. Survivability 40,800. This is the part we should talk about skills a little bit. In Tier 4, you probably want Demolition Expert and Vigilance. Might be up tiered with subs some of the time, and then you can see here it recommends long range secondary and main secondary batter aiming and repair, concealment. Our main armaments and damage control mod 1. Maneuverability, we're around 29.8 knots. We go with Moltke, which is basically just an enlarged Von der Tann. Not really much else to say about it. A lot of people already covered the ship in greater detail than me. I'm just trying to cover these ships and give my impressions of them. So much focus on the higher tiers, and we neglect the lower tiers. I'm trying to be different from all the other people out there that make content on ships. I wanted to do the same as everybody else. I'd just sit there and I would whale my way through to the tier 9. I'm not trying to do that here. I'm getting to it when I can. Now we're going to try this out and see how this plays. Trying to make sure there's a video out at least once a day for ships and at least one out for Temp Run. Temp Run 2 for that matter. There's no new dev logs posted yet, so I'll cut up on my coverage of those. Honestly, I want to grow a community that holds wargaming accountable for their actions, because I don't see that from the other communities as much, as just mind-boggling to me. I don't see it as much. Some ex-community contributors like Flamu do cover, are critical of wargaming, other people aren't so much. They kind of do the half-seas approach where they're sort of halfway critical, and they don't really be super critical, because I want to keep everything going the same normal. Honestly, you gotta be willing to give the critical opinions on things, or you're not gonna be able to grow the right audience to really criticize wargame when they do something really stupid. Some people held them accountable. A lot of people did when all that stuff broke out about the ex-community contributors leaving, so they did hold wargaming accountable then. Now everybody's mostly just settled back into old habits. So it is what it is. If you want to fix the game, you start by getting the older premiums rebalanced, making the lower tiers more important again. Emphasizing teamwork.
Torpedoes off backboard.
I do see good teams every once in a while. They are out there. It's just sometimes you get into matches and the people you can tell just aren't doing their greatest. Got a Dureski coming close. Ooh, boy, I got hit. Torpedo, greatest, but bulky, how does it feel? It feels decent. Like I said, this is the first time playing these ships, so I'm doing the best I can. Don't have torpedoes on the lower tiers. You don't get torpedoes, I believe, until tier 7 or 8, I want to say. But I think that these ships do have staying power even at the lower tiers. I think you just gotta be wary of your map position. Of course, what the other team is doing, that's also important. My positioning was off and I got closed into this island here. So it wasn't the best positioning. I want to know what kind of content you guys want me to focus on. Do you like it that I take a focus on the lower tiers versus the higher tiers? Because I think that's a different direction from a lot of the content creators out there for all the warships. That's a term that I'm going to use to refer to current community contributors and ex-community contributors and people who are independent of that whole program. Sea Lord Mountbatten. Others. I hold nothing against anybody in the community contributor program. I think that's up to a person's choice. They obviously get advantage, such as being able to do free giveaways and all that. I will do giveaways as I can. Obviously, I don't have wads of giveaways to give away. I'll give away things when I feel like it. I already did one the past month in September. I'm expecting to do one sometime in October. Be on the lookout for that. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to do a giveaway of next. Do you want me to do a premium ship like I did last time? Premium ship and like letting you guys pick what you want out of the premium shop, or do you want me to keep it to a theme like Transformers containers before they go out of the shop? Just let me know what you'd like me to do the next giveaway on. As always, any giveaways I do will be North America region only. Because you guys in the EU and RU really do get a lot of freebies all the time. To be honest, you do. If I'm able to gift stuff to the EU or RU, I suppose I will open it up to that as well. So we'll see. Right now I'm keeping the contest NI only. But overall, Moltke, good ship. See, I just haven't mastered the ship as well as Vonderton. Again, I'm showcasing my first battle in each ship, so my impressions are decent, and they're the first ones I have. And I'm not cherry-picking a gameplay. I believe you guys should see the actual gameplays, the actual results, not like reused Twitch clips. Somebody just cherry picks a gameplay. This is why I like Lord Zath, because he shows you the gameplays that aren't always perfect, and he talks about them. And that's what I wish we would do more often, not just cherry pick the big damage gameplays all the time. So, yeah. Battle's stretching out a little bit because you got a CV here. See, I'm not running into too many subs here because we're at the lower tiers. But honestly, I'm afraid we're just having too many changes pushed on us without our real input really being taken into account at times. That's how it feels like sometimes.
gegnerischen Flugzeugträger versenkt.
I think that World of Warships is a decent game when you play it the right way and you just control how much you spend on it to a manageable amount and not get suckered into random boxes and all that. I think that's the important part, is controlling what you spend, because I know some people are vulnerable. They'll spend more than they should, so definitely be looking out for your fellow human being if you know somebody you're doing that.
Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff versenkt.
Only like budget, you know, that's the important thing, is budget out what you're going to spend every month, and that'll stop you from going overboard. See, that was a good gameplay with Moltke there. Go on to Flinger. I think that's what you call it, is Flinger. We're gonna go over the armor again. 47,600. 19 millimeters up front, 100 at the side, 120 here, 19 at the bottom. Armor about 270, 235, 225 section, 225, 19 at the bottom. 270 on the front turret, barbette, front 260, side barbette 260, top is 80 millimeter, 110, conning tower 300, 150 section, superstructure 13 millimeters, deck 35, 25, so we'll go from 35 to 25 in the inner, 80. Let's see, what's this lay down? So this actually fought in World War One. What about this? Okay, I guess this must have also fought in World War One as well. These guys all fought in World War One. 19 millimeters. 19 there. It's got that arching in the back, so people are going to be able to shoot shells right here and easily get in. 260, 110. Back deck. 25 to 19. Stretch of 100. Aft end 19. Bottom 30 millimeters. Aft end 19. 19. 300. 150 at the casemate level. Take a look at the barbette armor, of course, real quick. 260 goes to 60. 220 at the side of the turret. Top of Citadel, 30 millimeters. Citadel deck, 50 meters. Citadel warship, 19 meters. 200, 250. 30 millimeters at the bottom, 45 at the side. 19 here. 250 here. Skills, demolition expert, vigilance. I'd probably take adrenaline rush here, and then emergency repair expert, and then I would go on to these skills here. Just because your secondaries don't have that much range here at this tier. Maneuverability is pretty good at 26.5 knots. Battleship 13.3. Just gonna take Flinger out into battle just in a sec, so I show you my equipment. Aiming systems mod 1, damage control mod 1, main armaments mod 1. And you do have a flight of depth charge air striker. You got 2 flights. Here we go. We're gonna take their Flinger out into battle now. Usually tier 5, you start seeing some of the characteristics develop, but not all the way, because it's like a steady progression. That's why I like the lower tiers, because you see that steady progression toward the mainline aspects of the branch. You often lose that when you just focus on just the tier 9 or the tier 10. I'm sure I'm going to see my fair share of sleeving videos, because I know there's a whole bunch of people that probably got suckered in and spent hundreds on that. I'm going to be open and honest about my bid. So I did put a bid in. So my bid was 17,500 gold. So I'll be open and honest about what I bid. I'm not going to bid any more than that, because that's just about the price of a tier 9 premium. If I lose my bid, I'll lose my bid. I'm just being honest. I did put one bid in, and that's it. I'm not going to do any of the credit bids because I don't feel it's worth it. So if I somehow win the auction, I doubt I will, but if I somehow win and you see a sleeping video, you know that I admitted and I said, yeah, I put a bid in for 17,500 doubloons. But honestly, do I think I'll win? No. Because there's going to be many mega whales that are going to put in 20,000, 30,000 balloons. Somehow I win the auction, I'm going to be surprised. But I want you to know that that is because I had that in the budget for what I was planning to spend in the game for this month. We all got to have a budget somewhere. I'm sure I'm going to be outbid by the mega whales that go in at 30,000 gold and whatnot. But if I somehow get my hands on Schlieffen, just know that, yes, I was open and honest about what I bid. Some people won't be like that, you know? Won't even tell you how much they bid. But their Flinger seems like it's got a decent speed on it. I don't say much about anything else yet because we've yet to fire on targets here. But I just want people to know I'm going to be open and honest with you guys on what I spend in the game. And that's where I come into play. I don't know how some people have large credit reserves. My guess is they had them from the old days when flags were more plentiful. I like to put equipment on all my ships. I don't like to demount equipment a lot, so I keep a lot of equipment on ships so they're equipped up and ready to go whenever I want to take them out and play them. And I have separate commanders for a lot of my ships, rather than moving commanders around all the time, you know? Maybe some will disagree with that approach, I don't know. I just try to have fun with what I have in my port. I'm not looking to sit there and be the biggest, baddest World of Warships player out there. I'm looking to be somebody who's critical where it needs to be, and I just don't see enough people just doing that right now at the moment. It feels like we're just accepting of how things are, and we're not really trying to do anything about super ships. You're free to disagree with me on super ships. As for me, I feel like it's devaluing the hard work I put in to get tier 10s. My port, there was a year where I just went at it and I was able to get 10 tier 10s in 1 year. I was really just going at it. You see that I just did a video on... on Siegfried not too long ago because it took time to grind that out a bit. Long range shells and a little better than the tier 4. You can tell I'm a little tired here. I'm just trying to get out the content for you guys. Honestly, I get so caught up in my rants sometimes. I do apologize. There's a part of me just feels sick seeing all this change to the game that I knew, you know? I'm sure a lot of you would feel the same if suddenly the game you played for 5 years got flipped on its head because somebody wanted to sit there and put super ships and subs in at the same time. I mean, come on, where was this? What happened to the talk about having a separate mode for subs? Did that just disappear just to appease the player base? Did you just sit there and say, oh, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that, we won't tell you? Honestly, I am not seeing people happy about subs right now. I'm seeing a lot of people negative about them. I should tell you something, Wargaming. Not everybody's positive about the ships, about the subs. You guys need to change your approach. Get rid of homing. Stick them in their own mode. Isn't that why you're testing out convoys to begin with?
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
I barely recognize the game anymore.
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
Passion that was there in the beginning is like gone from these developers. I remember when that sub-Octavian guy would sit there and have passion in his videos. Now it's just a business transaction every time he makes a video. That's what it feels like. It feels like the greed of wargaming has corrupted them to the point where they just don't want to admit that super ships are a bad idea. Or that subs are a bad idea without them being in their own mode. It's like, come on, guys. Don't you realize a bad idea when your own player base is telling you it's a bad idea? It's like anytime we're critical, wargaming's quick to sit there and just brush it off, and they say, oh, the majority of players want this, when it's not really the majority. It's really spreadsheet says we should say this, despite the actual fact being this. Don't kid yourselves for a moment. The almighty dollar is showing them more. They're more friends with the almighty dollar than us these days. Seems like the game's gone downhill ever since Vision of War left, honestly. 2018 was the huge year where everything changed. Where the monetization was just ramped up even more. You know what the original concept for Christmas containers was? It was to send gifts to your friends. That's what the original concept was. Before it turned into loot box palooza, like it seems to be every year at this point. That's what it feels like. Loot box palooza instead of being its original purpose where you're supposed to share gifts with friends. I mean, sure, you can still do that, but their main focus is obviously getting as much money out of you as they can before the holidays so they can go celebrate, because they're rushing holidays right after Christmas. I think that they should make money, but I think they should do it in responsible ways. What I would do different is focus on cosmetics. Do the cosmetics. People would buy them. Look at your sister game, World of Tanks. They've done it successfully. Done it really well. Honestly, I want to see them go through the trouble of actually creating an in-game designer to customize your ships. I would seriously put gold on that. That's a way to monetize the game without throwing out all the balance we had before just because you guys want to stick super ships in. Honestly, you asked me, I wish that the super ships were stuck in grand battles and they weren't going to make the migration to ranked like they are this month. Pretty sure it's this month that they're sticking them in ranked. Not early next patch. Honestly, it makes me understand why there's not a lot of beta and alpha players left in World of Tanks, because the alpha and beta players' voices were slowly drowned out because World of Tanks and Wargame decided to seek the almighty dollar before actually the player base themselves. Now they want to turn World of Warships into a copy of World of Tanks by having more paper ships than actual ships that served in steel. And I'm saying to you, Wargaming, you should take the effort and get the pre-dreadnoughts into the game. Create a tier 0. Bring them into the game already. Because people will appreciate ships that were historically served. All the super ship nonsense is turning the game into anime ships, honestly. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that. Yes, Der Flinger is a good ship. As you can see here, we got 75,713 damage. Not a bad game. And you know what? I'm gonna do what most of the people aren't going to do in their videos. I'm going to show you my actual bid on the auction. I'm being honest. Look right here. 17,500 doubloons. That's my bid on Schlieffen. And I don't mind you guys knowing that. I'm going to leave this as it is. Honestly, these are all designed to take your credits away from you if you haven't figured that out already. Credits are becoming harder to earn. You should be holding on to them a little bit more. If I had to advise which one I would do this one in the middle. Because the camo bonus is actually decent on those camos. And a 14-point skill commander I think is going to help you more in the longer run than one ship for coal. This is like almost half a ship for coal. Commander, you train up that commander, it can be very versatile. And honestly, you guys got to make your own choices on all this. It's all your choices. And I'll show you my current progress right now on these bundles. See here that I still need to get to max in and I still need to do the rest. And I don't have this all completed because I'm not going to sit there and spend the money right now for all this nonsense, you know? I mean, these ships are going to be for free in just 2 patches from now. But yeah. Honestly, the game needs some work, and it needs to start with the people at the top realizing that there's something wrong with their behavior. To over monetize the game. Over monetizing the game. I could go on and on and on and on about this, but I'm not going to sit there and bore you guys. Let's take a look at Maxon, because likely I'll get there within a week or two from now, perhaps sooner. We'll see. Take a look at Maxon real quick. Bad ship. Let me think. Was Maxon actually completed? Yeah, I think Maxim was left in a half-completed state and then scrapped. A lot of these ships never got built. Tier 6 and up, these all never got built. But you guys make your own choices on what you want to get in the game. But honestly, I'm telling you, it's going to shift to more blueprint ships more than anything because they're running out of real ships to actually put in the game. And that's why we're probably getting that tier 11, most likely. You know what they should do as goodwill? They should give players a coupon to half price the tier 11 ships for people who have been around for a long time. They probably won't even do that. So there you go. There's my overview for the tier 3 to tier 5 German battleships, the alt line and World of Warships. Battle cruiser battleships, however you want to call them. I'm sorry I went on a little rant and a tangent there. It's just I'm a little tired when I'm recording this and I'm trying to get this out for you guys. Honestly, you need to remember that your wallet is your vote in this game, okay? That is an important concept to remember. You choose with your wallet what you want to buy and what you don't want to buy. You're going to have this rosy picture painted to you by the community contributors, obviously, because they're becoming more salesmen than they are actual community contributors anymore for some of them. But honestly, you spend with a conscience. Please remember to like, watch, and share this video. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subs. Because at that point, then I can start monetizing the content and we can have a lot more fun with that. I'll be able to do some more giveaways once we reach that point too. So keep that in mind. Let me know what you guys would like me to do for my next giveaway. And take care, everybody. These are chaotic times we're in. Take care. Thank you for watching.